So, we talk about this from the veteran support side all the way to the angling side, personal. None of this gets done single-handedly. You know what? There's always a support system out there for us to make these things happen. So beyond the personal support system, there's been business partners that have helped you launch, because you're still relatively early on in your pro career. Very, very early on, which is exciting and awesome to watch. Who have been some of those either inspiration or key partners that have really put you, help get you on this path, besides,
I have I can't say a lot. I have a close-knit group of friends that I trust with stuff, and they've been the ones to push me to actually chase this. On the business side, number one being Colosso Toyota. I approached them, I think it's been 4 years ago already. And they were willing to take a chance on me, and them helping me out and helping me a little bit financially towards being able to travel a little bit more has boosted not only my fishing skill, but it's made it financially possible to travel more, because this is a very expensive, it's not a hobby for me, it's my profession, but it's a very expensive thing if you want to chase it, and you got to have the backing to do it. Unless you win the Powerball next week, $500 million or something, you're not going to be able to do it unless you have a little bit of support.
Right.
Clark had been with me for the last 4 years, and nothing can express how appreciative I am of them. They didn't have to, and they're willing to take a chance, and
that's huge.
It's paid off, and it's paid off for me. So
now, where is Colosso located out of?
Appleton,
Now, are they only in Appleton? Is that their only dealership, or do they have multiple? Or
they have multiple dealerships. I'm not sure where the other ones are. I just have a relationship with the Toyota dealership.
Awesome.
Been running a Tundra for quite a while. Pretty awesome truck. But yeah, I've had a lot of partners last year that stepped up to the plate too. Colosso Toyota, again, being one of them. Mirror Image Marine and Gel Coat out of South Carolina. I met him spending some time down there. And 5x3 Fishing, they've been with me from the beginning of my NPFL career. There's just a ton of, and another thing about it too is I like partnering with smaller businesses too, because I have a platform that is growing immensely every day, and it's a way to help their businesses grow also.
And this one, I'm going to be kind of unpolitically correct about this, but this was something I got to tell you, man. I lifted an eyebrow when I saw it, but then all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? Mad respect. 5x3. I'm going to shorten this up. There were some issues in the past. 5x3, previous ownership or management, I don't know the intricate details. All I can tell you is based on things I saw online, some things I read from non-creditable sources. I will be the first to tell you that. I'm a huge one of advising people stop taking social media as fact. Do your research. But from what I saw and my understanding of the situation, there were some issues in the past, and there were several people very upset with them. But then new ownership took over, new management. 5x3 for what it's, if people didn't understand, this was, they did some strong branding work early on, because this is not just a fancy sticker on your hoodie there. This is a mentality. And what this, for those of you not associated with tournament fishing, this is 5 fish by 3 o'clock is basically what this boils down to, and it's meaning for those of us, that's our life in these tournaments, is we need to get those 5 in by 3 o'clock. What was that? Dude, that had to take for a young pro, getting his business going, knowing there's, maybe some clouds in the past.
Yeah,
that took cojones that need to come in a dump truck, man. That's and kudos to you. But what was that? How'd that transpire?
So I got introduced to them, and I had realized what had happened in the past. I mean, if you look it up online, the Better Business Bureau doesn't have a whole lot of good things to say about them. But I can tell you that it's a completely different company. They all the new owners did was buy the trademark from the previous ownership. So all they're using is the logo and the name. So it's a completely separate company than what it was before. So if you guys love the brand and love what it stands for, completely different ownership. Their number one priority, because of what happened last time, is customer service and support. And you can look up some of the reviews. I have a lot of friends that buy from them, and they're extremely happy. Super fast shipping. They get you your stuff, which I think was a big issue last time.
Yep.
But yeah, completely new company. It's a very small business, and they're just trying to grow. And the reason, it took cojones from them too to buy a brand, to buy that trademark.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have done it unless they did, unless they believed in it. So their passion for believing in a brand and what it stands for is the reason why I partnered with them. And I wanted to help them grow and help them get their name on the right track again.
Yep.
And that's exactly what's happening. It's going a little slow, but it's going. They're starting to gain traction and putting some decent products out. And
well, I can tell you from a seasoned aspect here, our industry has brand loyalty to a fault.
Yep.
It is very difficult to change perspective once it's been gained in some areas. And you can come out with the greatest technology on the planet, but if this is what grandpa and dad use, this is what I'm going to use. And that's that. It doesn't matter. So that was the first uphill piece. But I want 5x3 to know this, and any of our listeners to know this. From a guy on the outside, I was not a 5x3. I hadn't purchased anything in the past. But, I watch business pretty close. The fact that you put your name behind it, Doug, that carried all the weight in the world to me. I was like, okay, there's something here then. Obviously, he's not going to associate with them because just knowing what I've gleaned about you, it's like, nah, this isn't the kind of guy that's going to get with something that's shady or that's, flaky. Clearly something good has happened there. That's that power piece. I think that influence when they talk about that was enough for a guy like me who's, probably next on deck because that is a sharp looking hoodie. I like that quite a bit. Yeah. I'm going to have to score me one of those, but yeah, that's a huge deal, man. So props.
Yeah. The ownership behind 5x3, it's, 3 owners, Mark Strickland, Jeremy, and Mark's wife. So it's a family business too. Very small.
That's awesome.
Just trying to help them grow, and they're very, very good people, or I wouldn't have partnered with them.
Good stuff. So, the other, any other of the I know a lot's changing, and this is when we keep saying off season, the guys in the South are looking at us scratching their heads. Right. There is an off season for Northern anglers, and that is, when the water, our boats won't go in it. It's hard now. it's on top. So I know there's a lot of business stuff taking place there, but as far as anything on the sponsor that's really helping this second year come about that you can talk about at this point, yep. Any of those guys out that you can say yet?
So another company that I partnered with last year that really helped me out is JB3 Rods out of Texas.
Right.
They're also just getting started, and you'll notice a trend with me. With the people that I partner with, I want to help them grow while I grow. And JB3 Rods has definitely stepped up to the plate last year, and they're going to be continuing to be a partner for this year. Jewel Baits has been a big one. And, something to say about all of this is when you're traveling, the people that you meet along the road, you would never think that you would. Life is just picture it like this. Life is a big jigsaw puzzle, right? And every piece fits together in just a perfect way. And I don't think anything happens by chance. And it all fits together perfectly to create situations. And you're given a choice in those situations, whether to pursue or not pursue either a friendship or a career move. And just things have popped up. It's unexplainable. I'm a Christian, and I strongly believe that God has a plan for me. And when I pray, I ask him to just give me the choices and help me make the right choice to pursue what I'm doing. And awesome. I don't know, it's wild, the people and the things that happen to you along the way, and it all just fits together perfectly. And I don't know, it's wild to think about. And some of those pieces could be bad pieces and some of them could be good pieces, but the bad ones have to fit with the good ones to make the whole picture. That makes sense.
It does. It makes so clear sense. You have wisdom beyond your years for sure. It took me, you're a fast learner. I'm a slow coach. I'm realizing this stuff, just like a couple of years ago. Dude, you couldn't have said it any better. It is the people. And like I said, we talked about this in our pre-interview talk. I hate being away from my wife. She's my best friend. She is the center of my universe. And I hate that part of this business, but in the same breath, I can honestly tell you, it's that networking with people. It's the grind out there that you get a piece of it in your blood, man. And then you're in trouble because it's not, it's not an easy lifestyle to go through, but it is neat meeting. And you often wonder, why did I meet? If you have faith-based, you believe in that. If you don't have faith-based, I think you got to give way to the fact that there's something bigger working out there somewhere.
Something's going on for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So 2022, man, it's you're going to be, your plans are to fish the entire NPFL season again. Is that the only league you're going to fish?
I'm going to try and jump into some maybe Toyota Series events if they're close to where I'm at. I wanted to get into the Opens. It just didn't work out that way yet. And originally my plan when I decided to fish the NPFL, prior to them announcing that it was going to be a thing, I was going to fish 6 Opens that year to get more experience elsewhere in the country.
Right.
And it so happened that this came up. I applied and I was one of the guys who got in. And, it's snowballed after that. Now I'm here.
That's awesome.
A lot of crazy stuff has happened since then. But next year, I think that I'm going to try and I'd like to fish all 9 Opens and the NPFL if I can.
Shoo.
Because there's just too much downtime for me in between tournaments. I mean, it's to have a break sometimes, but 2 weeks is too much for me. Like I gotta be competing or practicing or doing something. So I think next year is probably going to be Opens in the NPFL. And then this year will probably be Toyota Series, because I think the Opens are pretty much packed tight right now. There's a big waiting list to get into those. So
there is. I just had an interview with Matt Steffen, Tackle Warehouse Pro angler, veteran. He's from your neck of the woods up there. I'm putting the Wisconsin connection together here in our interview series. And Matt was, I love Matt's approach. He's been doing this so long. I mean, he is very cut and dry from the business side of things, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the things he said, he's been a lifetime bass member himself. And he even said he wanted to grab a couple Opens this year and he's on a waiting list. And he's like, and he was scratching his head. I'm a lifetime bass member. Right. Normally that sign up period, opens for him. But one of the pieces on this that I thought was really interesting is when you look at this from a business standpoint, and this is coming, I'm paraphrasing what he had talked about. He said the Opens, there's just no argument to it, are one of the worst business things a guy can go after. When you look at, roughly 65-68% payback is what happens because that money's helped boost the elite field. But one of the things I mentioned to him, and see if you've experienced this, I read an article literally back from the FLW days. And this article was talking about West Coast fishing, since we on the West Coast, we feel the no love vibe, a lot of times out here, because the fishing out California, Colorado, it's tough. Arizona, it's a different kind of fishing. But one of the things the guy said was, and this was going back to the early 2000s, if you want to make money, you fish the FLW. But if you want to get known, you fish bass.
Right.
Now, with the chemistry change that took place a couple of years ago, we're still in the early stages of seeing how this all unfolds with the MLF and so forth. But you got to think that's, that wave is changing. I mean, the names are where the names are, you know what I mean? And these are the guys we've grown up with since we were itty bitty, watching them go out there and do things. So how does that play in when you're in the NPFL? I've said this several times. The NPFL is on its way. If you keep going, there's so much good positive. There was a bump in the road. And hopefully, I put out a personal opinion piece on that just from a customer standpoint. One day could be a potential angler for that, could be applying to that. But how does that strike you? The two-part question. Number one, how much does that come into play in your decision for the schedules? And number two, when you're considering, the future piece, where does your priorities, does it go more towards the notoriety piece, or does it go more towards the financial? How does that swing?
Well, I can tell you that I'd be happy just being content and having enough money to eat ramen noodles for the rest of my life. So it's not about money at all for me, but at some point I'm going to have to get my own house and my own place again. So I got to make money at some point. I think, as you were saying, the FLW is where you make money and bass is where the notoriety is. I think with the NPFL, the money is certainly there. Like if you're looking to make some money in tournaments, I mean, we're paying to 42nd place $8,000 this year, which is, nobody else is doing that. And so if you want to make money and pursue it, I think the NPFL is definitely the right fit. And their schedule deconflicts with Bass Opens, which is perfect. So you can chase that notoriety. And that's not to say the NPFL isn't going to gain notoriety either, because if they play their cards right and do everything they're supposed to do and keep their wheels on, that could potentially be, right next to Bass eventually. And that's another thing when the league started up, is we're not competing with Bass. We're just another avenue, because there's only so many spots available, and the guys coming up through the college ranks and all that stuff, they don't have any options. And when you're getting out of college, you don't have $19,000 to go fish all of the Bass Opens. Where are you going to get the money from? The NPFL gives you the option to gain notoriety, grow your career, and make some money, and chase other things as well. And they're not going to be prejudiced towards any other organization. We're just over here doing our own thing.
Yep.
And it's a great avenue. I think I'll be with the NPFL for a very long time, as long as they're around. And I think the way that things go, like you said, there was a hiccup in the road there. All that's straightened out now, and we're on our way. So
that's awesome.
Well,
in any avenue, like I've said before, people always try to draw a line between MLF and Bass, and now we got the NPFL, stepping into the ring. It does no good for the sport to draw lines. What we need, as anglers, as fans, we need that cooperation piece, and just as long as we're all working to further the sport and stop with it's got to be this way or that way. I've always been a big deal when people took exception to some when the anglers left, that they're not showing loyalty. Listen, it's their $5,000 an event.
It is. Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, I think the loyalty has to be to their family, to their sponsors. And that's that. Who are we to judge that decision? Unless you're writing the checks, for guys like you, I don't think you have much of a hat, to throw in the ring. We need to sit back, watch as it goes. And so, yeah, I have the greatest wishes for the NPFL to keep going. I would love the opportunity when I'm at that skill level to have a chance to compete at some of those events. But so that's awesome stuff. Well, listen, man, I don't want to take up your entire day, but this whole piece, what you represent out there in your career, watching it as it goes, I can tell you, I know our audience is going to be getting behind you for sure. We're not huge, but they are a loyal group, and we're going to continue to grow it. If I have anything to do with that, that is our mission through and through. We'll be watching. We'll probably be throwing up some of your results and such. We'll put that stuff up there when we can, and be directing folks. Are there any other areas that you wanted to touch on throughout this deal here that I haven't covered with you?
Well, there's going to be some pretty big changes for 2022 on the sponsor side of things. The boat's going to look a little different this year. I'll be putting some stuff out. The boat's getting wrapped right now. That's why I'm sitting by a garage door and not in my boat. And I ended up switching boat brands this year.
I was going to say, I wanted to mention that. I failed to mention that. You're running a Vexus, man. Talk to me. What's this about? I've ridden in them, never driven them.
That comes into play with the jigsaw puzzle. I met a guy, introduced me to some people that worked at Vexus, and we worked out a deal, and I ended up in a VX20, which I'm absolutely stoked about. If you've never been in one, I highly suggest finding somebody on the internet to take a ride with, because it's like nothing you've ever been in. It's hard to explain. It doesn't drive like anything you've ever driven as far as a bass boat goes. And
you got to experience it.
Go pretty quick too. I was out breaking it in after I got that first 2 hours done. You can open it up after that, and I opened her up, and I had her to about 74, and I couldn't feel my fingers anymore. It had a little bit, so it's not slow. And it's probably the best built boat on the market, and I know Vexus will stand behind it if something does go wrong, which is something I was looking for, because I had some things go wrong last year that hindered my performance a lot. So
I remember that. I didn't have the details, but you were without your rig there for a while.
Yeah, I'll try not to get into it.
Sure. Yeah.
Some things happened with the old boat that I guess hindered me a lot.
Sure.
And
well, that support piece is huge. Yeah. No, that support piece. I tell people this all the time online. When I'm a part of several boat owner groups, and I've told people this, that listen, boats are boats across the market. The difference, out there isn't as huge as what a lot of people. There's just certain things that they're all kind of known for. I equate it to the Ford, Chevy, Dodge thing out there.
Yep.
They're all building good products. Some are just built with a little attention given more to this, but more importantly, man, it's that dealer manufacturer support that is so critical and can make all the difference in the world.
Especially with what I'm doing, you need to know that if your boat breaks down, that they're going to help you, because you're not on the water, you're not making money. That's the name of the game. So, I got a partner with businesses that I think are going to be beneficial to my career. And Vexus was one of those decisions.
That's awesome.
Yeah. From everything I've heard, they are by far the best in customer service right now on the market. So that's why I went with them, because if I have a problem on the water, then I know it's going to be taken care of, and I have nobody to blame but myself. I changed a lot of things for 2020. so that if I do bad in a tournament, that's on me. I don't have anybody to blame but myself.
And isn't that what we're searching for, right? Is like, throw this. I want to remove all the variables that I can control.
Control this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. No, that's a critical piece, man. I feel for you on that. I'm not gonna put anybody on blast here, but I've opened that statement and it's caused me to leave conversations with a couple dealers around this area when I let them know that you do understand this is what I do for a living. So when I have an issue, I'm looking for a relationship with this, with a dealership that you understand this is my livelihood. This isn't, oh, darn it, I can't go jet skiing this weekend. No, man,
Right.
we've got commitments to sponsors. You have, timing to put together. So yeah, that is awesome that you got that connection through there. So the boat piece, you got the new sponsors coming down the line. Well, listen, man, we are going to stay in contact with you because I would love a chance to catch you on the road during some of our travels as well out there. Breakfast or dinners on me for sure. This is going to be awesome to catch up. We're actually going to be coming back to your neck of the woods in May and June. You'll probably be out on the road, but May, June, we'll be up in Wisconsin there. We're going to hit La Crosse and we're going to hit Winneconne in the Great Lakes BFLs up there. We're coming back. So
You might. We'll see if it fits into the schedule. I might jump into a couple BFLs.
dude, that'd be awesome.
June time frame will be in Saginaw Bay in Michigan. So,
Oh, okay. That's not too bad. Yeah.
no, it's 8 hours.
8. Yep. That's pretty much what Lake of the Ozark was for us coming out of Minnesota there. So it was that's an easy day to pull. Not a big deal. Well, awesome. Listen, again, Doug, thank you so very, very much. We wish you from the bottom of our hearts the best 2022 you can have out there. Know you've got a new group of Army behind you here. We are, and to make sure, dude, I had the cup and everything. got the coffee rolling.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on. It's pretty cool for me. I've done a few podcasts before, but this is definitely an awesome conversation. I really appreciate it.
Oh man, that huge kudos. We're gonna quote you on that one out there. And hopefully, if this works out, man, I would love to if we can catch up with you. Just if anytime something big's going on out there, whatever, just for a quick little 4 or 5 minute deal. Love to love to have your expertise, on a lot of that stuff that's going on out there.
I don't know if I'd use expertise in my name sentence ever, but we'll run with it. Yeah, definitely hit me up. Maybe we can link up at some point and
Heck yeah.
maybe do.
Awesome stuff. Well, thank you again, Doug, and we'll be following along.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.